On a foggy winter night, a ghost walks the ramparts of the Danish Oslo Castle, first sighted by the watchman, then by the scholar Horatio. The ghost resembles the recently deceased King Hamlet. His crown was handed down to his brother Claudius, who also married the king's widow. Horatio and the watchman bring Prince Hamlet, the son of the queen and the dead king, to see the ghost.
Hey, where are you leading me? Speak! I'll go no further.
Mark me.
I will.
My hour is almost come, when I to sulphurous and tormenting flames must render up myself.
That's too bad, poor ghost.
Pity me not, but lend thy serious hearing to what I shall unfold.
Speak. I'll listen.
So art thou to revenge when thou shalt hear.
What?
I am thy father's spirit, doomed for a certain term to walk the night, until my foul crimes are burnt away, but I am forbid to tell the secrets. I could tell thee a tale would unfold the darkest secrets, but this eternal blazon must be to ears of flesh and blood. List, list, oh list, if thou didst ever thy dear father love.
Oh my!
Revenge his foul and most unnatural murder.
Murder!
Murder most foul, as in a best it is, but this most foul, strange, and unnatural.
Tell me about it, quick! I'll take revenge right away, faster than a person falls in love.
I find thee apt, wouldst thou not stir in this, nor Hamlet here, this given out at, sleeping in my orchard, a serpent stung me. But now, thou noble youth, the serpent that did sting thy father's life, now wears his crown.
Oh no, not my own uncle.
Yes, thy adulterous beast, with witchcraft of his wit, persuading her to give in to his lust. She went from me, with all the dignity and devotion that suits her marriage. The wretch whose natural gifts were poor compared to mine, but soft, methinks I sent the morning air. Brief let me be. As I was sleeping in the orchard, my custom always in the afternoon, your uncle snuck up to me, and poured a vial of henbane poison in my ear, and that's how my brother robbed me of my life, crown, and queen, all at once, cut off even in the blossoms of my sins.
All you up in heaven and on earth. What else? Shall include hell as well? Damn it, keep beating my heart, and my muscles don't grow old, keep me standing. I will remember you, ghost, as long as I have any power of memory in my distracted head. I will wipe my mind clear of all trivial facts and memories, and preserve only your commandment there. Oh, you villain. Villain, you damned, happy, smiling villain. Where's my notebook? I'll write down that person can smile and still be a villain. So, uncle, there you are. Now it's time to deal with the vow you have made to my father. He said remember me, and I swore I would.
Hamlet's unusual behavior makes Claudius suspicious, so two of Hamlet's friends from Wittenberg are told to spy on Hamlet and report new information to him. Meanwhile, Hamlet decides to set up a play which enacts the murder that the ghost described in an attempt to prove the ghost's honesty and reveal Claudius' perjury. Claudius leaves the room because he cannot breathe and acts guilty. Hamlet is now truly sure that the ghost was not only in his imagination and that his father was killed by Claudius. Therefore, he becomes determined to avenge his father immediately and resolves to kill Claudius.
My crime is so rotten, it stinks all the way to heaven. It has the mark of Cain on it, our brother's murder. Pray can I not, though inclination be as sharp as will, my stronger guilt defeats my strong intent. I stand paralyzed between two opposite things to do at once. What if my hand is covered with my brother's blood? Will God ever forgive me? Isn't that what God's mercy is for? So I will pray, but how? I am still possessed by the effects of that murder. O bosom black as death, O limed soul that, struggling to be free, art more engaged. Help, angels! Bow, stubborn knees, and heart with strings of steel, be as soft as sinews of the newborn babe.
I could do it easily now. He's praying now, and now I'll do it. And there he goes off to heaven, and that's my revenge. Or maybe I better think about this more carefully. A villain kills my father, and I, my father's only son, send the same villain up to heaven. Seems like I just did him a favor. He killed my father when my father was enjoying life with all his sins in full bloom, before my father could repent for any of them. Only God knows how many sins my father has to pay for. As for me, I don't think his prospects look so good.
My words fly up, my thoughts remain below. Words without thoughts never to heaven go.
So now we are going to talk about early modern English. Early modern English is a stage in the English language from the Tudor period until the English interregnum and Restoration. In other words, a period between the 15th century and the 18th century, as you can see on the picture. This was a stage in the English language after the Middle English stage. All of Shakespeare's works are written in this variant of English. Modern speakers of English, like us, are generally able to understand early modern English, especially late early modern English. In fact, some of the grammatical and orthographical conventions from the early modern English survived in modern English. Anyway, early modern English meant a comprehensive change in the English language. During the Middle English period, there were numerous regional dialects which existed in England and Scotland. William Caxton homogeneized the regional dialects and standardized the English language.
There was a major shift in the English language that took place in 1350 and the 16th century. This is called the Great Vowel Shift and is responsible for many of the peculiarities of English spelling. This involved dramatic changes in the pronunciation of long vowels, for instance the word meat and boat.
Early modern English has more second-person pronouns than today's English, which makes it easier to distinguish between the different pronouns. The pronoun you, used in today's English, has three distinct forms in early modern English. They are thou, thee, and ye. Thou is used when you is the subject of the sentence, while on the contrary, thee is used when you is the object of the sentence. An example of this is if we were to translate "if you will not," we would use the pronoun thou because you is the subject, which would create the sentence "if thou wilt not." If you were to address a group of people in early modern English, you would use ye opposed to you as a pronoun. If you were to translate the sentence "how are you," where you is plural, into early modern English, the correct translation would be "how art ye?"
This example also shows how the different forms of the second-person pronouns help the reader to understand who is being addressed. In the previous example, the reader understands that the question is addressing multiple people instead of one because of the pronoun used.
Shakespeare's influence on the English language. Shakespeare's literary work have been a major influence on the language used at the time, and his additions are still used today. Words like addiction, inaudible, and uncomfortable were all coined by Shakespeare. Some are estimating the words and phrases invented by Shakespeare to be in the several thousands, as high as 1,700. He invented those words by changing nouns into verbs, changing verbs into adjectives, connecting words never before used together, adding prefixes and suffixes, devising words wholly original. Shakespeare assisted in introducing structure in otherwise unrestrained and impulsive language.
You just heard that William Shakespeare coined close to 2,000 words and phrases we still use today. Obviously, when it said still used today, it doesn't mean that they are used very frequently. Actually, the vast majority of these words and phrases will most likely appear to you as unknown. However, he is responsible for several expressions we're more or less actively using. Here are some examples of expression he is said to have coined. First of all, majestic, which basically is majesty, just adjectivized. Majestic was first introduced in Shakespeare's play Julius Caesar. Another example is the expression fair play, which basically means treating other people along the rules or in a fair and honest way, and it is often used with sports. As for my last example, I've got eyeball, which Shakespeare basically coined by combining the two words eye and ball.
To sum it up, did early modern English mean dramatic changes in the English language? Shakespeare was a crucial person in early modern English as well as William Caxton. Shakespeare established several new words and expressions that we use in today's English.